Namaskaram. Welcome to the next session of our Mother Earth Speaks to Corporates. So we are going to look into the next verse, which is Pullum Silambanagan Pullarayan Koilil. Starts like that. Instead of me reading it out, let us listen to the singing version by Vimala Srinivasan. Here we go.
புள்ளும் சீலம்பினக்கான் புள்ளதையன் கோயில் புள்ளும் சீலம்பினக்கான் புள்ளதையன் கோயில் வெள்ளை விழிசாகிய பேரவோ கேட்டிலையோ பிள்ளையாய் எழுந்தீராய் பேய் முலை சாஞ்சுண்டு பிள்ளையாய் எழுந்தீராய் பேய் முலை நாஞ்சுண்டு கள்ள கலக்கழிக கலோச்சி வெள்ளதரவில் துயிலமர்ந்த வீட்டினை உள்ளத்து கொண்டு முனிவர்களும் யோகிகளும் மெல்லைய எழுந்து அறிகின்ற பேரரவு மெல்லைய எழுந்து அறிகின்ற பேரரவு உள்ளோ புகுடு குளிர்ந்தேலோடும்
So that was a very nice Sankarabharanam. Thank you, Vimala madam. This raga Sankarabharanam is the 29th Melagartha table raga. This is a Sampurna raga. This is the 5th raga in the 5th chakra, Bana. And this is considered to be a most ornamental kind of a song, because a lot of embellishments are possible in this. A lot of gamakas are used, so it is good embellishment is possible. And a lot of varieties can be and variations can be done in this raga, and very melodious, at the same time very kind of a laid back but majestic raga. How does it connect to the verse is we'll have to see as we discuss. Maybe end of the discussion we might be able to connect to the majesty, the embellishments, etc. etc. First 5 verses we looked into the mission and associated factors. In every conceivable mission, we have a series of bands of people in different categories. The categories are based on the aptitude, attitude, experience, various things, performance, various things. It is like a bell curve. Bell curve is universal. So in any organization we have people who are brilliant, or some people average, some people mediocre, some people laggard, some people like a deadwoods. But organization is like that. The universe is like that. So is the organization. So it is inevitable. We'll have to live with that kind of a bell curve. So how do we handle the deadwoods, laggards and other people to align with the organization and still work? It is like a 80-20, 80% of the business is brought with the 20% of the people in the organization. Likewise, almost all the organizations are like that. Andal is able to identify this even in her group, that there are people who are lagging behind for various reasons. So from now onwards, for the next 10 verses, she is identifying different people who are having different behaviors, rather dysfunctional behaviors, and how to bring them on. This is the theme of the next 10 verses. And how to bring certain schemes, how to compare a few things so that they also get involved. In the process, she also talks of 10 role models. And for bring the 10 role models, she is referring the fellow saint poets who also had come down to the earth to propagate the various principles of righteous living. The 10 alvars, she herself is an alvar. The 10 alvars, the 12th one is dedicated to his guru, so he is considered separately. The balance 10 saint poets are part of the Lord Narayan, like his mount, his disc, his conch, his sword, his gada, so various things. They all came into the earth in the human form to propagate what the Narayan has ordained them to do. So how does it compare to the corporate? It is like the board members who have earned the right to be the board members and directly reported to the chief of the organization. Like the celestial parts of Lord Narayan, they have earned their position to be with him all the time. So the sequence of use of these alvars as role models, there are two schools of thoughts, and I am going to follow one particular school of thought which was propagated by one renowned scholar called Pradivadi Bhayangaram Annagaracharya, who lived in the 13th century. So I am going to use that as a sequence. The role model that referred in this particular verse is an alvar called Periyalvar, who happens to be the father of Sri Andal. So she first brings her own father as a role model, as a respect to the parents, and it is a must. Even the saying is that first the parents must be recognized and thanked for. So this is how the verse is going to go, and subsequent verses also are going to have some role models. She will identify what is lagging, what is the dysfunctional behavior, what is the role model, what are the messages. Now the question is how to address all these people and bring them on the same level. Here she talks of one particular trait of not being aware, the lack of awareness of the organization, the mission, etc., etc., etc. It could be possibly due to two reasons. Number one is people are fresh in the organization, they are still finding their feet in the organization. The second one is they have spent some time, but they are not really in the thick of things. So they are passengers, like how to bring them, how to address them. So this verse brings out one possible method, is communicating. What should we communicate? Communication of their role, what is happening around, what are the success stories of the organization and the chief of the organization. So all those things should come in. Nowadays, in many organizations, there is a special function called corporate communication, which is mostly attached to the office of the CEO. And because of the corporate communication, it must be of a caliber of a benchmark communication. It also must establish continuously the supremacy of the organization as well as the chief. There is the role of the corporate communication. The role model that we discussed here is Periyalva, who was able to stand out in the large group of pundits, and he won a coveted award by establishing the supreme truth by way of communicating. And he had the blessings of Lord Narayan, and it is said Lord Narayan came into his tongue and delivered the lecture, and he was so close to the Lord. The corporate communication chief also is the close person to the CEO, because he has to communicate what the CEO has to communicate, what he has in his mind, how to take the organization. So one of the key role of the corporate communication head. Now, the corporate communication, what should it contain is the question. I am just listing down a few important points. Number one, it should keep talking about the achievements of the organization and the chief who has rightfully earned the position to be the head of the organization. Share a lot of success stories that would encourage people and motivate people and then say we are on the right organization, we are on the right mission, we must participate. Number three, it should update people on current happenings, what is happening here, what is happening there. So what are the current events, special events, you should keep highlighting. And there must be a continuous thread in the corporate communication which highlights the theme of the organization and which must be a constant reminder for all the people, whether laggards or the deadwoods or the mediocre people, even people who are in the high performing area. They also must be having that kind of motivation to continue and sustain their performance. How does it flow in this particular verse is the one. Interesting. As I said, I had put a different kind of a corporate thinking hat, and I am seeing it from a totally different perspective. So I am just going through the verse. Pullum Silambenagad. This is about the current events that are happening. So she is talking, there are so many activities that are happening. Pullum Silambenagad is referring to the activities that are going around. So it's a part of the communication that flows on a regular basis. Pullarayan Kovil Vellai Vilisangin Piraram Ketiliyo. Please listen to the corporate communication from the CEO's office. I am calling your attention to listen to all these people. Why this calling to attention? Vilisangam. Sangam itself is the one which is communicating. Vilisangam refers to the calling to attention. I am calling all of your attention to look at this. Pullarayan Kovil. Pullarayan means the chief of the organization. Kovil is temple, his corner office. From there the communication keeps coming. Please listen to that. Pillai Ravindirai. Dear friends, wake up. Stand up and listen to all these items and get updated on a regular basis. This communication also continues to have a lot of success stories. Pei Mulai Nanjundu. That means about a story of succeeding in weeding out of the bad elements like poisonous elements, etc. etc. This is the story of Lord Krishna taking the poison out of that demon and killing her. Pei Mulai Nanjundu. And equating to weeding out of all the bad elements. Kallachakadam Kalakkaye Kalochi. Kallachakadam is scheming people. There are people around, scheming people who talk about negatives. There could be competition, there could be instigated. And people have won over those kind of scheming things and still making the corporation successful, and the mission is going towards the success. So this is another success story that is being talked of. The next line is quite interesting. வெள்ளத்தரவில் துயில் அமர்ந்த வித்தனை உள்ளத்துக் கொண்டு. The chief has not come just by luck. He has slogged. He has won a lot of battles. He has won a lot of things. And he has rightfully earned the corner place. You might say he is sitting in a cozy office. But the cozy office has been earned by him. By the success story that we had mentioned. Paimula Nanjundu, Kallachakaram Kalakade Kalochi, Vellattaravil Tumaranda Vitane. That means he has fought a lot of battles to earn that particular place. And he is now enjoying the cozy corner. And he is a continuous inspiration for all of us. So people talk about the chief, they take him as a role model, it becomes a benchmark, and they talk about the mission. There are a group of people who keep talking about the mission on a regular basis, which is coming out. Munivargalum, Yogigalum, Mella Elundu, Ariyendra Peraravam. Ari means we are talking about the, Andal is talking about Narayan, teaching Narayan. He is Hari. So only one mission. Talking about one mission, one team, we are going to. In fact, I am reminded of my earlier organization where I used to work, Modi Xerox, where I used to have a theme song which is running like this. So, one mission, one vision, one team, etc. etc. Even now I get goosebumps when I listen to think of that. We used to get a lot of goosebumps when we get that continuous theme. So therefore quite some time. It is an important thing in the organization. So this is referred here. Ariyendra Peruvam, that is a song, theme song that is continually, which motivates you, which keeps you going towards the mission. Now your mind is calm, now settle down, you are looking at various good things. I am in the right place, in the right organization, the right person who is going to guide us. All those items you are now settled down. Now you are welcome. Now come and join the whole thing. And the last thing that comes out of the role model, Periyalvar, he had a selfless dedication and devotion, which also is a trait that we should inculcate looking at the role model. Very beautiful verse, and which also connects to the corporate scheme of things that we currently see. I am sure that you would have enjoyed the flow, how the communication, corporate communication becomes a very important one. So as a conclusion, so we look at the important points that has come out of this verse. Number one, the bell curve being universal. Every organization has people who are on the plus side as well as minus side. And this was there in the Andal period as well. To manage them, there is a constant updation of what is happening around, and which must be through a communication, and we refer to the corporate communication, which is an important tool in any organization. And the corporate communication must talk about the success stories, and we must be beware of the various hurdles, and take cue from the head of the organization who has won a lot of battles and how he has won the battles, and work towards clearing all the hurdles that might come in our way. There could be a lot of negative propaganda, so we should also evade those kind of attempts by other people to take you away from the mission path. And one mission, one vision, one team, that theme must be there all the time in any corporates. And last but the most important thing is the devotion and the dedication, and there must be selfless like the role model that we talked of. I hope I had given some good insights. So we will continue to explore Tirupavai and what it can offer to the corporate and connect to the various scheme of things in the corporate world. Till then, Namaskaram.